នាំមកជូនលោកអ្នកដោយ
ឱកាសចំណេញរហូតដល់ 14% ពីគម្រោងថ្មី The Star Platinum Eco Sunrise
Share card បណ្ដាញ 4G Wing Pay
ចេត្រា Royal Bank ធនាគារមកពីប្រទេសជប៉ុន
Hello, you're watching English news program of CNC. Here with you today, I am Tana. I'll start with today's headlines. Prime Minister Samdech Kemasanapade Chon San announces temporary closures of all casinos nationwide. Prime Minister Hun Sen announces suspension of white rice exports to reserved for his countrymen. Prime Minister Samdech Kemasanapade Chon Sen calls on properties owners to either delay payment term or reduce rent amid COVID-19 pandemic. Authorities ban sales of COVID-19 test kits at local pharmacies in Chamkamon district in Phnom Penh. Welcome back. The first story for today is regarding to what Samdech Kemasanapade Chon San, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia, has announced this morning. It is regarding to the temporary closures of all casinos nationwide. The head of the royal government of Cambodia, Samdech Kemasanapade Chon San, has announced the closures of all casinos across Cambodia from April the 1st, 2020 until a new notice is met, and this is to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in Cambodia. Samdech Chon San's announcement for the nationwide ban on casinos was made on Monday morning on March the 30th, 2020 after the National Assembly meeting on the appointment and amendment of composition of the royal government of Cambodia. Samdech Chon San claimed that the reason that he left for several days to decide on the temporarily shutdown of casinos across the country is to make it easier for the owners of the casinos to pay salaries to all their employees. During the temporary closures, taxes are not imposed on this business. Samdech Chon San has said that the order to close all casinos will be effective from 11:59 p.m. on the 1st of April 2020. Why do we have to wait until the 1st of April to make it effective? The problem is not with the gamblers, but it is on how the casinos bosses or owners have to deal with their workers. Because if closed immediately, casinos owners are gone, then who will be in charge of the workers when their jobs are already suspended? According to Samdech Kemasanapade Chon San, the order of this closure is not because of any individual's request, but the royal government of Cambodia has taken clear steps to prevent and to avoid serious effects of COVID-19 pandemic in Cambodia. As of 30th of March, the Ministry of Health has identified only 4 new cases of COVID-19, while the total number of people recovering from the disease has risen to 23, and 84 of them are being treated. Particularly for the 2 newly cured coronavirus patients, 2 of them are a 38-year-old man who was infected by his Japanese business partner in Siem Reap province and a 35-year-old man in Bantiminche province. They were tested 2 times and found both negative results of COVID-19. Both are allowed to return home on the 30th of March. Regarding to the rice exports, Samdech Kemasanapade Chon San this morning has announced that there is a suspension of white rice exports to reserve for his countrymen. Prime Minister Samdech Kemasanapade Chon San this morning announced that the exports of white rice to overseas markets, most of which are exported to Thailand and Vietnam, will be temporarily suspended from the 5th of April onwards. Speaking at a press conference at the National Assembly, Samdech Chon San confirmed that suspension was intended to reserve as domestic food as COVID-19 spread across the world, including Cambodia. However, for export of fragrant rice remains unrestrained because of low demand for the domestic market. Samdech Chon San also advised rice millers to buy rice at the place where people harvest and keep the good price for the buyers. Samdech Johnson once again called on people to turn their fears into measures of self-defense through the guidance of the Ministry of Health. Parents should advise their children about these measures, especially recent migrant workers from Thailand, whose figures from the Ministry of Interior have shown more than 50,000 people. Samdech Johnson has encouraged them to isolate themselves for 14 days. This morning as well, Samdech Cambodia Johnson has called on property owners to either delay the payment term or to reduce the rent fee amid the COVID-19 pandemic in Cambodia. Cambodia's Prime Minister Samdech Cambodia Johnson has called on owners of properties who rent their spaces to others to be aware of the cost of renting facilities or to delay the payment or lower monthly rent while Cambodia is experiencing the crisis of COVID-19 pandemic. Samdech Johnson has said that I would like to call on private sectors to understand this hard time. For example, if a private company opens a business but it does not have its own location, he rents the stores from one owner to run the business which is now down or about to close. So let the parties work on reducing their costs, like delaying or reducing the fee. We have no right to force both parties to follow since it is the contract between the parties. Please understand each other in this matter. I heard some people who are renting a building, renting a place, renting a property. Owners are asking for a full price while tenants are not earning any money. If the landlords can offer free rent for 1 or 2 months or discount for 50%, 60%, 70%, we can keep the customers when the situation is back to normal. This is what Samdech Cambodia Johnson has said this morning. At the same time, Samdech Johnson added that rent payments, home mortgages, car mortgages, and other type of mortgages are common in Cambodia, so that both owners and clients need to understand each other in this hard time of COVID-19 pandemic in Cambodia. Samdech Johnson has asserted that the government does not have any right to invade the private sector. But in this situation, if the state of emergency is effective, the state may have the right to impose certain obligations on the price. But for now, Cambodia is implementing a free market economy, so the government has no right to determine the price of any goods or services. And the last story for today, it is regarding to COVID-19 test kits. This morning, Samdech Cambodia Johnson has announced that the test kit of COVID-19 is not legal. And also there is an announcement from the Ministry of Health about this test kit as well. So we have an example here. Authorities has banned the sales of COVID-19 test kits at the local pharmacies in Chamkamon district in Phnom Penh. Chamkamon authorities led by Chamkamon Deputy Governor Mr. Ang Seray Piset along with health officials from the Ministry of Commerce and officials of the Consumer Protection and Fraud Repression Department visited some pharmacies to advise owners in Chamkamon district not to sell gel, rubbing alcohol, hand sanitizers with high price and tell them not to sell COVID-19 test kits, which is illegal. He asked the pharmacies to cooperate with authorities to prevent the sales of COVID-19 test kits, which is without the Ministry of Health approval. All pharmacies are advised to give the COVID-19 test kits immediately to authorities if they are having them. However, if they fail to cooperate, they will face legal charges. The Ministry of Health announced that there is currently rapid production of COVID-19 test kits, but so far the results is not reliable yet, and the WHO has not certified for its accuracy and effectiveness yet. The effectiveness of such rapid tests is very low, and there are many uncertain outcomes, such as those without virus having a positive result, while those who have the virus have a negative result. The ministry confirmed that only the National Institute of Public Research and the Pasteur Institute in Cambodia are operating in accordance with the World Health Organization's technical and operational guidelines. The Ministry of Health has warned that anyone who uses the test kits for COVID-19 virus without permission from the Ministry of Health will face legal charges. That is all for today's program, and I hope everyone take a good care of yourself and also be hygienic for all the time. Stay safe, and also it is advised for every one of you to stay at home if there is no necessary work or things to do outside the house. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye for now.